There was something I used to do when I worked at the last company. Okay, first of all, let me explain to you how parking brakes work in a tractor trailer or any truck that has air brakes. Okay, you hear the name air brakes and you think the brakes work on air, which they do. But the parking brake does not work on air. The parking brake work on a spring. All right. Now, what happens is, just say if the truck does not have any air in the air tanks, the parking brakes are on because they are spring loaded. They'll work by springs. So now, when you crank the truck up and you build up air pressure, before you can pull off, you have to push in a button. This button sends air and it compresses the spring and allows the brakes to release, the parking brake to release, and you roll down the road. Okay. When you step on the brake pedal, air is used to apply the service brakes, the regular brakes. Okay. Again, when you come to a stop, you pull out that lever and the parking brake comes on. What happens is the air that was holding back that spring is released and the spring is allowed to push onto the main brakes, and now your parking brakes are on. Okay, now, what I used to do was when I was loaded and I was waiting on somebody to say something, as far as I know, no one has ever said anything. I used to pull up to a place sometime on private property and I would pull the parking brake, okay? And if the truck is loaded, the parking brake, they won't slide. The truck will roll to a stop. It won't slide, it just roll to a stop. Well, sometimes I would pull up and I would pull the parking brake and I would get out the truck while the truck is still moving. Now, I'm not talking, the truck is not moving 10, 15 miles per hour, just moving, I don't know, a mile per hour. But I've had some customers say, you know, when you're out the truck was still rolling. Yeah, no, it'll come to a stop. Well, how do you know it's gonna come to a stop? It came to a stop, didn't it? Yeah, but how you know it's gonna come to a stop next time? The reason the truck rolled is, again, because the truck is loaded. There's weight on the truck. So that when I pulled the parking brake on the Volvo, the parking brake was only on one of the rear Actually, I think it was on, oh hell, it doesn't matter. On some truck, the parking brake is on one axle in the back, and some truck, the parking brake is on both. I think it was on one axle on the Freightliner. Yeah, it was. It was on one axle on the Freightliner. So when I come to a stop, I will pull the parking brake, get out the damn truck. The parking brake will come on, but because there was so much weight on the truck will keep rolling for a foot or two, and then it will stop. Of course, again, people didn't know any better, so they think the damn truck is going to keep rolling. But it's not going to keep rolling. It's going to come to a stop. And I'll tell you what I would do sometime. If the truck was loaded, if the truck was empty, I would lock the center diff, which locks the front rear axle with the rear axle. It locks them together. And then I would pull the parking brake and it would not slide even if the truck was empty, because that one parking brake on the front axle, it could slide the front rear axle, but it couldn't slide the rear axle. It's not strong enough to slide both of them when the trailer's on it. Yeah, I know, it's kind of confusing. But that's what I would do. But it would freak out customers because I would get out the damn truck and the truck would roll a foot or two before I stopped. Was it dangerous? Of course. Well, no, it's not dangerous. Like I said, the truck is going to come to a stop. And it's not like I would do that when there's a vehicle in front of me or somebody walking or whatever. I wouldn't do that then, right? But again, if somebody from the office saw that, they would have a problem with it because they are afraid the truck is going to keep rolling. The truck is not going to keep rolling. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've told this story several times, and I love telling it because it's funny as hell. When I used to haul propane, I delivered some gas to this company, and I would park on this steep hill. It was like right by the door where people went into a building. So I would park on this steep hill, and I would pull the parking brake, get out the truck, and start swapping out propane. So one day a supervisor walked by and says to me, "You need to chalk your tires." And I'm like, "Why?" "Because the truck might roll. If the air leak out of the truck, it'll roll." He was a supervisor, right? A safety supervisor at that, but he did not understand how air brakes work. He thought air was going to leak out and the truck would roll. So one day, the next time I came there, of course, I didn't chalk the damn tire. Hell, I didn't have any chalk on the truck to chalk the tires with, right? There's no reason to chalk the tires because once the parking brake is on, the truck ain't going nowhere. And I've said this before, you can park a damn truck on a hill for 50 freaking years. It's not going to go anywhere. Why? Because one of those springs could break, but not both of them. It's not going to break. Even 50 years later, they're not going to break. But anyway, so he come up the next time. He's raising hell because I didn't chalk the damn tires, right? So he told me he's going to call my supervisor and he's going to get me banned from coming to the company. So anyway, I walk over to the driver's side of the truck and there's 2 air tanks. I open up both of them. Air starts shooting out the truck. He loses his freaking mind. He's running around trying to find something to put under the tires. His dumb ass think the truck is going to roll because he didn't understand how air brakes work. By me letting the air out the tanks, I actually made the truck safer because just say, the valve is not going to fail, but just say if the valve failed and it allowed air to compress the springs, the truck would roll, right? Well, by me letting the air out, there's no air to compress the spring, so the truck can't go nowhere. Even if you got inside and pushed the air brake release, nothing is going to happen because there's no air in the truck to release the air brakes, to compress the spring. But his dumb ass didn't know that. He losing his freaking mind thinking that the truck is going to roll because I let the air out. So, of course, he called my company and raised hell with my boss. And my boss being, he's a in the office kind of guy. So he had to, instead of just explaining to him, hey, look, the driver didn't do anything wrong. He actually made the truck safer. But it just tripped me out how people swear, people in the office think they know what the hell they're doing and they don't have a clue. Dre, y'all have a good day.